So I'm here again with Chris Warren from Renson Project Management. Chris is in charge of this house, which we've been filming several times. But today we're going to be looking in quite a nerdy way at machine rooms. And Chris is a machine nerd, so
It's going to tell us all about it.
I'll try to, yeah. So this house, what is it? It's like 2,000 square meter built.
It's over 2,000.
So it's a hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a hotel, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's big. So you need a big plant room.
Yeah.
Or three.
Three, as we have, yeah.
Yeah. We're going to look at another house, which is
Yes.
even bigger, I think. And that's got another plant room as well.
Two, yeah.
But I'm constantly showing houses.
Yeah.
Constantly going to plant rooms. Constantly not knowing what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So it'd be useful to have
Input.
some input, yeah. So, I mean, for me, these look like hot water tanks.
Correct.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay, so these are hot water tanks.
Yes.
That's aerothermia.
Yes, right.
So connected to that are units on the outside.
Yeah, a main heat pump.
The heat pump, yeah. Heating the water
Yeah.
in these tanks,
Yes.
which are then controlled by pumps
Yes.
for
Which we'll see shortly.
which we'll see which control the pressure in the whole house.
To ensure that the hot water house has a constant pressure.
Okay.
And that's why we have the water deposits that we'll see as well.
Yeah. So we'll get Frank up the ladder.
Yeah.
And then this thing you were saying
It's
is
the inertia tank for the air conditioning. What that does, it stores the cold water that runs through the pipes that go through the fan coils.
Yeah.
Basically, a fan coil, what it's doing, it's called a fan coil because there's a coil in there which has cold water going through it.
Yeah.
And the fan is blowing the air over the cold water grills and creating your cold air with the air conditioning.
right. Okay. So that's going into the ducting system.
No, it's going into pipework, which feeds the fan coils.
Right.
The fan coil then produces the cold air,
Yeah.
which then goes through the ducts and is ducted into the room.
Right. So where are the fan coils then? They're somewhere in the pipework.
No, they're not in pipework. The fan coils, we try to always put them in the bathroom.
Oh, okay.
Although they make much less noise now, the idea
That's
is
at the roof,
in the ceiling.
in the ceiling. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So that's the fan coils.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Right. So this is got it. That's producing the cold air, which gets to
No,
the
it's cold water.
cold water,
not
which
cold
goes
air.
to them, and then
The
turns
fan
cold
blows
air.
the air over the cold grills.
Yeah.
And it goes into the rooms.
Right. Okay. And then
That's why it's
conversely,
called a fan coil. You've got a coil with cold water in it and a fan that's blowing air over it.
right. And then similarly, you got a heating element for when it's hot air.
Correct, in the fan coil, but you don't need to produce hot water for that. It's just an electrical element that's in the air.
Right. Okay. How cold is the water in this tank?
About 14 degrees.
I was going to catch you out there. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So while we're here, because it gets quite noisy in those other plant
Yeah.
rooms, we were talking about different types of management for plant rooms.
Well, it depends on the size of property you're dealing with.
Yeah.
Obviously, you've got small, medium, and this is a large property.
Yeah.
So when we're constructing villas like this, we're trying to encourage the client to have a preventative maintenance.
Yeah.
Because it's like a car. If it's used, that we need to maintain everything. The filters need to be changed and need to be not changed, but cleaned at least.
Yeah.
And everything needs to be looked after. So a preventative maintenance program, we're basically looking at everything every 3 months.
Yeah.
At least throughout the year.
Yeah.
If you don't want to have a preventative maintenance, you can then go to just maintaining twice a year. So at the end of the summer or the end of the winter. So when it comes into the winter, you make sure the fan coils are okay. At the start of the summer, you make sure the underfloor heating is all working correctly.
Yeah.
If the client comes in. And then at the start of the summer, if you want to test the fan coils to make sure everything's working correctly as well.
Right. And then so
'Cause
normally,
otherwise, if you don't maintain anything, it's management by crisis, and that's not the way to behave,
yeah.
in our opinion.
Oh, this makes sense. So when you're with this villa's being designed with the architect, obviously the plant room situating where they're situated,
Yeah.
we're by the garage here,
Yeah.
so there's obviously easy access for
Correct.
maintenance staff.
Yeah.
All
All the plant rooms have got drainage. You can see the drainage in the floor here.
Yeah.
You can see the drainage in the other plant rooms as well. Just in case if there's a burst, so it doesn't affect the rest of the house.
Right. But it would be the technical architect then who'd be designing these rooms and what's in?
No, it'd be an engineer.
An engineer.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's an
It's a
outside,
mechanical engineer.
consultant. He's
Yes.
deciding what goes in these rooms
Exactly.
and how it's fitted
Yeah,
together.
it's the parameters for the design of the house. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Because crisis management would be somebody who doesn't do anything, and then in the
Wait
middle
until something breaks.
of summer they're like, God, it's boiling in this room.
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But okay. So it's a bit like a fish tank, I suppose. If you don't keep it, maintain the filters,
It's a bit like a
car, yeah. Okay. And then with a company like ProInsamant, Technoclima, these companies that you pay every month, they're coming in, and those guys
they take responsibility, making sure everything's running properly.
Yeah. Okay. So they're cleaning the filters.
And within that maintenance contract, you have a 24-hour call out as well.
Right. Okay. Let's go and have a look at another room. I don't think we missed anything in here, did we?
No, I don't think so.
No. Well, what was this bit again, Chris?
These are pumps. This is all the water going through the system.
Okay. So that's pumping the cold water.
Cold water.
Cold water. Right. Okay.
You can see that some of the pipeworks are labelled up. Obviously, it's not been labelled up completely, and there should be a schematic diagram in here, but that's not here yet.
Yeah, but we're not finished yet in here. No. Okay. And that is an inertia tank.
Inertia, yeah.
Inertia, yeah. So that is full of, it's got air in it?
That's just got air in it, yeah.
Yeah, okay. And that's
to make sure the pressure stays constant.
Okay.
And I think I've showed you this before, but I'll show it to you again. It's got air in it.
Right.
If you tap it and it hasn't got anything, if it's got water in it, then you'll know already, because the system won't be working correctly. Yeah. So there's got a rubber gasket inside it. So you either need to change the rubber gasket or pump some air back into it.
Okay. And why would that fill with water then?
Because the rubber inside could be burst. There could be various reasons.
Right. Okay. But that is pushing.
No, it's keeping a constant temperature, making sure there's a constant temperature in the pipework.
Oh, right. Okay. And then you got your own fuse board in here for this room.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's.
I mean, see a fuse board in each of the plant rooms.
Yeah. I mean, the great thing in Spain that they do is that they do have these very ordered plant rooms, which are very accessible. You can get everywhere.
Yeah.
And
well, you should do, yeah.
Yeah, should do.
But it's to do with the size of the property.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, of course. Yeah. So if we go through here, then we're going into the garage. So it's still under construction.
Yeah.
But this ladder, which I went up earlier.
Yeah.
This has got 2 huge tanks, no?
Yeah. In this side, you've got the potable water tank.
So that's drinking water.
Drinking water. And this side, you've got the irrigation water.
Okay.
The reason being, in this urbanisation, there are 2 supplies.
Oh, really?
One for the potable and one for the...
So they're doing sort of dirty water?
Yes.
Yeah, for gardens, etc. Yeah. Okay. And how deep are these tanks?
As high as you can see here. Each one's got... It's about 8 cubic metres in each.
Wow. Okay. So that's pumping in from the street? And
it just comes under constant pressure from the street.
Yeah.
Fills the tanks.
Yeah.
Then the pumping system you see downstairs...
We're going to get to...
creates the constant pressure throughout the house, so that when you open a tap, you're not getting pressure dropping up, down. It's giving you a constant pressure throughout the house.
Okay. And then this monster...
Climb up the ladder if you like. You can see how big they are.
Yeah, I did have a look there earlier, Chris. Don't fancy getting up that ladder again. And this monster is...
the dehumidification system for the spa.
Okay, because that huge...
Because in the spa, we've got the swimming pool.
Yeah.
We've got the jacuzzi.
Yeah.
We've got the hammam.
Jets.
The killer jets, the hammam, and the sauna as well. But what this is doing is making sure, so if we've got a temperature in the swimming pool of, say, 28 degrees, this will keep the air temperature at, say, 29, 30 degrees to ensure we don't get any condensation in the area.
Okay.
Because as you've seen, there's lots of glass screens in there.
Yeah.
You want to avoid condensation.
Yeah.
And that's what this machine is doing.
Right. So it's pulling the air out. Correct. Recycling it. A bit like an air conditioning then.
Yes, but it's keeping the air temperature in the pool. So whatever temperature you set the pool at, this needs to be 1 to 2 degrees warmer.
Right. Okay. To avoid condensation.
Correct.
Right. Okay. All right. And it's a very big machine, isn't it? I've seen one's half this size.
Yeah, no, it's big.
Yeah. But I suppose it's designed for the size of the room.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. And obviously that was put in here during construction.
Well, actually, it was brought in here about 3 months ago.
How did they get it in here?
We've got 2 double doors there.
Ah, okay.
So the crane lifts it over and it comes through there.
Ask the stupid question. Okay, so these pipes
are feeding... Well, as you've seen, there's an external swimming pool.
Yeah.
There's an external jacuzzi.
Yeah.
And when we go downstairs, you'll see all the plant is pumping all the water through the pipework.
So this is all the water coming out from there. Yeah. And these are pool covers?
They're the control panels for the pool cover, because the internal pool has got a pool cover and the external pool's got a pool cover.
Right, okay. So that's just...
The reason for the pool cover internally is to keep the energy consumption down.
Yeah, fair.
So you don't get that constant evaporation.
Yeah.
When the clients aren't here.
And that's, I suppose those are quite expensive to run, no?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you want to try and keep the costs down.
Try and keep the costs down, yeah. I've seen that before. That's irrigation, isn't it? Correct.
It's just not plugged in yet because it's not working yet.
Okay, fair enough. So it gets a bit noisy down here, doesn't it? We're in Water World here, yeah?
We have Water World here, and you can see we've got plenty of drainage.
Yeah.
Just in case we have a problem.
So that's...
This section here is for the internal jacuzzi.
Okay.
Okay, this pump here is the air pump.
So that's the bubble maker.
That's the bubble maker.
Okay.
And these are the pumps that are pumping around the system as well, and that's the filter.
Right, and that is running constantly, or?
No, it's depends how often you want to use it, but in general, it will be running half the time.
And what's in that?
Sand.
Sand.
Yeah.
What, filter?
I'm not sure if it's got sand or glass in it. It can have either.
Right, okay. So
that's the selector valve.
Yeah.
Because obviously when the guys, at the moment, it's just on filter.
Yeah.
Obviously you have to backwash it, waste, so that's the 6-way selector valve.
Right, okay. So it's pulling water in through the filter and then pushing it back out, clean water.
Yes.
On a rotation basis.
Yes. When the house is full and people are using it all the time, it has to be on all the time.
Right, okay, okay. All right.
If you don't use it, then the water will just turn green. So you do need to...
Right, on a basis of that filter. Yeah.
Okay. The machines behind you
yeah,
are for the automatic dosification system.
Yeah.
So you can have salt,
yeah,
which is converted here. Because even with salt, you create a small amount of chlorine. What that machine is doing is creating chlorine from the salt. It's creating a very, very low level.
Right, okay. So
nobody wants to have chlorine because it affects your eyes.
Yeah. But you use it in an amount.
Yes, a lot.
To kill bugs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you don't get ill.
Yeah, okay. And the salt's coming. Correct. Yeah. And yeah, what I didn't understand was that this is automated now, it's easy. So,
yeah, so all you do, all the swimming pool maintenance, because sometimes there's problems with it's a lot easier for the full maintenance guy to put more product in.
Yeah.
To make his life easier.
Well, yeah, I just chuck it in, yeah, normally.
But all this is doing is keeping everything at a constant.
Right.
So there's none of that. But all the maintenance guy has got to make sure they're filled up, and that does everything itself.
And there's sensors in the pool?
Correct.
Okay.
Well, the sensors aren't in the pool. The sensors are in the machines coming through the pipework. So as the water comes through the pipework, he's checking the water.
Yeah.
That way it knows.
Okay. Wow. AI.
Yes.
Yeah.
Getting there.
Getting there, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. And then, so this is the
external pool.
That's the external pool. So that's a big filter.
Yes.
A bigger one of those.
A bigger one of those because it's a much bigger swimming pool.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm getting it. Getting the hang of it. Yeah. So what's that blue one, Nick?
It's better for bromide down through the internal pool, yeah.
Okay.
It's cut down on the chlorine.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So same again.
Yeah.
More pumps.
More pumps.
Yep. For the internal pool. Probably.
Internal pool. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You know when we turned those 2 jets on?
Yeah.
The killer jets. Yeah. That's where the water's going through.
Oh, okay. So they might need to be turned down a bit.
Yeah, they're quite strong.
They're strong. Yeah. Okay. And then
more dosification systems.
Oh, this is more for the indoor pool.
Yes.
Right. Okay. And this?
It's a container for the chlorine, or the pH. It might be pH, I'm not sure.
Right. Okay. You know the outdoor pool?
Mm-hmm.
It's an infinity pool.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's preventing that from constantly, filling up with water?
Because it's got an automatic feed on it.
It's an automatic feed on it, yeah. So I've seen in other houses they've got like a tube with like a weight in it or something.
Yeah. That's to maintain to make sure the
level.
Yes, exactly.
Is that here
in the expansion? But that's in the expansion tank. Which we can go. No. What you're trying to do is when you create an infinity swimming pool, rather than having a a compensation tank, which is a vessel to hold the water.
Compensation tank.
Yeah, to hold the water. Is you're trying to create the tank beside the pool at the size the pool needs, and that way you don't need a compensation tank because the overflows is the compensation tank. We can look at it.
We can look at it. Yeah. Okay. All right. This is
More controls and fuse boards.
right. Okay. And then this will be another jacuzzi. I suppose
There's external jacuzzi.
there's another bubble maker there.
Yeah.
This is
Just compensation tanks.
okay. And
Decalcification.
decalcification. All right. Okay. All right. So that's a water softener.
You got it, yeah. So you put salt in there, yeah.
Right. Okay. Okay. And then these are the pumps.
Yes.
Right.
These pumps have got, as I was explaining before, they've got clutches on them. So what you're doing is these again are pressure vessels.
Yeah.
So you've got a constant pressure in the pipes. And what those will do, they will come in and go out. They won't kick in like they do and then kick out.
Right.
So when you open the tap, you get a nice flow of water. And when you close the tap, you don't get any variations in pressure.
Right. So when you go in a house that, or a restaurant, you know, and you and it goes all over you,
Yeah.
then
Because they've got a really shitty pump on them. Yeah, and I haven't got one of these on them. Yeah, with no clutch.
right. Okay. Inertia
Yeah, expansion tanks. They're both expansion tanks.
expansion tanks.
Inertia tanks for the air conditioning.
Oh.
Those are just expansion tanks.
Right. So what's that mean?
It keeps pressure, again, keeps the pressure in.
Another one.
So make sure it's constant
Right.
pressure.
Okay.
So you've got one for the garden and one for the house.
Right. Okay.
You've got two pumps for the house because you've always got a backup, and you've got one pump for the garden.
There's a big pipe missing there, isn't there?
Yes, because if you notice, if you go down here,
Yeah.
this room needs to be ventilated.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so there's mechanical extraction system in here. So renovating the air all the time.
Really? Otherwise, it's become
You
stale.
don't get humidity and you don't get any chemicals down here, whatever. It can all be taken out and the air's renewed.
Right. Okay. So, in terms of plant rooms,
Yes.
we've got cool, heating, water.
Yeah, this everything to do with water is down here,
Yeah.
for the exception of the two tanks that we've got upstairs,
Yeah.
which have been created within the structure.
Yeah.
As I got reinforced concrete walls, and we've rendered them waterproof, those.
Yeah.
So this is everything to do with water. Then upstairs you've got the
Dehumidification.
dehumidification system. Then at the back of the garage is where we've got the underfloor heating, hot water, air conditioning.
Right. And then on top of that, in modern house, you're going to have a technical room, which this one has, where you're housing fuse boards,
Yes,
domotic systems,
yes.
and then I suppose you've got Sonos sound systems.
That's it all goes back to the rack. All goes back to the rack.
Yeah, so you've got a huge rack.
Yeah.
Okay. And is that air conditioned, that room, to prevent the service from heating up and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So when a technician comes here once a month,
Yeah.
what are they typically going to be doing in these rooms?
They're just going to make sure everything's working correctly.
Yeah.
Checking pressure vessels, making sure this sort of thing's got air in it, making sure the decalcifier is working correctly. They're just going through it to make sure it's running correctly. They're just testing levels and make sure they are working correctly.
And we're not at a stage yet where, I suppose it will come, where you can have an app where everything's on it.
Well, actually, the villa that we're going to look at next,
Right.
we're going through the process of automating all of the plant room.
Oh, really? Wow.
So, for instance, that again, the house we're going to look at has got internal swimming pool, external swimming pool, internal jacuzzi, just external jacuzzi. So we're putting water meters on them,
Yeah.
but water meters that can be read
Remotely. Yeah.
so you can control the whole of the plant room, right?
Brilliant. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And you can get alerts if there's a problem.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So can we have a look at the swimming pool?
But yes, we can.
All right, great. So this is feeding back in.
Yes. So that goes down.
Going through the filter.
So what happens is that's pushing the water out of the jets.
Yeah.
So the jets in the wall there,
Yeah.
pushing the water. Well, you've got jets in this wall as well,
Yeah.
but it's pushing the water over the edge.
Yeah.
It returns into those three drains there,
Yeah.
goes back through the filter, and it comes back through the jets. So you've got a constant overflow of water.
Right. Okay. So constant movement of water.
Yes. But again, it's off now. It was on before.
Yeah.
But what you want is, you know, summer 8 hours and the winter 4 hours.
Yeah. To filter.
You can have it for more, but
Yeah, sure.
What you're trying to do is save on electricity.
Yeah. Is the next machine room radically different?
Not really.
No. Same stuff.
But you've usually got 2 instead of 3.
Right. Okay.